When most people think about Sweden, they think maybe beautiful countryside, the extreme cold, ABBA, perhaps even Santa Claus. But did you ever think about this? Well, it's as Swedish as it gets. It's called the Gripen, and it may just be the finest fighter plane in the world. It's true. Most people have heard about jets like the F-16 or maybe Russia's MiG fighters, but for decades, Sweden has been making some of the finest fighter jets in the world. And today I've been invited to kick the tires and light the fires of a plane that's a symbol of pride in this country.
Sweden has a very long tradition of building aircraft. In fact, the first aircraft built by Saab, the manufacturers of the Gripen, was way back in 1937, and over the decades Saab has built some of the finest fighter designs in the world. Aircraft like the Draken or the Viggen, which was in fact considered once by the Indian Air Force, and now this, the new generation Gripen fighter.
Saab, which also manufactures a fantastic line of luxury cars, wants to sell India the Gripen fighter. It's going to be one heck of a competition. The Russians with the MiG-35, the Americans with the F-18 Super Hornet and the F-16 Fighting Falcon, the French with the Rafale, and a European consortium with the Eurofighter are equally keen to get into the Indian market in a deal which could be worth up to $10 billion. The Gripen is a multi-role, all-weather, single-engine fighter. It can hit targets on the ground, in the air or out at sea, or all together if need be. The jet can be equipped with the latest generation ESA, or Active Electronically Scanned Array Radars, which offers precise and long-range targeting. The Gripen can carry a wide array of weapons and can be integrated with the newest weapons and radars from countries such as Israel and South Africa. It's a genuine 9G fighter. In other words, it's pretty much as maneuverable as they get. The Gripen can also fly Mach 2, twice the speed of sound.
So what's the Gripen experience all about? Well, before I actually get onto the fighter aircraft, I need to know what the controls are all about, and who better to teach me a little bit about the Gripen than the pilot who's actually going to fly me. He's a test pilot with Gripen. Major Johan Strostand is with me in what's called the Gripen Dome Simulator. And it's here that pilots on the Gripen aircraft actually learn all their skills before they actually fly the jet. So Johan, why don't you just hop on in and show us what this jet's all about.
Pilots like Johan get to hone their skills here before they get anywhere near a plane which costs at least $40 million a piece. I would do the same.
All right, so it's my turn now to fly the Gripen simulator. Let's see if I'm any good as a pilot and test out what this Swedish beauty can actually do.
You have a short range mode on the radar there. And make the heading for that, then you just put it there.
I've been an aviation freak all my life. The fact that I can count with my fingers and toes pretty much sums up why I am on air, not in the air. But I've been lucky, and I must confess, as an all-hand on Microsoft Flight Simulator games, I'm reasonably accomplished as a pilot, good enough in any case to land the Gripen in the simulator on my first attempt. Johan was pretty impressed.
Easier than Microsoft Flight Simulator X is all I can say.
But what about the real deal? Getting into a real-life Gripen for a ride of a lifetime. That's coming up after this quick commercial break.
Getting into a G-suit is somewhat of an art form. It's not easy. There are a lot of laces and a lot of zippers, and everything fits tight. But the G-suit is absolutely essential. It not only makes me comfortable during the flight, it also enables me to pull high G loads, without which I'd be unconscious.
It's an auto-injector morphine, tablets for headache problems and stomach problems and for seasick.
Okay.
And here, survival knife.
That's if we choose to eat some reindeer for lunch, right?
Yeah.
I'm fitted into a comfortable helmet now, essential not just for protection, but for actually being able to hear what the pilot up front is telling me. The next step of fitting out my G-suit is going to be this oxygen mask, and getting the right fit is again all important. So this particular mask doesn't seem to fit all that well, so my fitter is out to try and find me a mask that fits well to enable me to breathe properly.
Not perfect. If something goes wrong, you sit on the back seat. From the front seat, if he ejects, the back seat goes first, then the front seat.
That done, it's time for a quick briefing.
We will taxi out. We'll wait for them to give us a clear signal via the tower, and they'll let us know if they want us to hold on the runway or when we roll and take off.
Okay.
We're going to take off with max afterburner.
And then on to my ride. Johan drives me to the Gripen in style, in his personal Saab 9.5. It's a gorgeous car, the jet behind it even more gorgeous. This is a dream come true. We taxi out from the Gripen base in Linköping, line up for takeoff. Johan slams on afterburner, we pretty much blast off. And go vertical, pushing 5G, which feels like 5 times your body weight bearing down on you. It's pretty tough to breathe, your vision closes in, and without a G-suit, it would be game over for me. In a few moments, we're out over the Swedish archipelago and over the Baltic Sea. The same Baltic Sea over which Swedish fighters intercepted Soviet bombers out on training missions during the Cold War. But today, Johan would demonstrate the capabilities of the Gripen. We dive down to just 50 feet off the deck of the sea. Buzz a few ships and accelerate away. It sounds like boys with toy stuff, but the agility of this fighter is truly remarkable. Finally, we line up for what the pros at Gripen really want to demonstrate. The ability of this fighter to land within a distance of 350 to 400 meters on tiny roads or strips, far away from main air bases, refuel, rearm, and take off, all in a period of 10 minutes. That's right, just 10 minutes. After our sortie, Johan explains just how it's done.
You come down, you are sending some maintenance reports on the air data link to the ground crew. They know the situation of the aircraft. You touch down, you get waved in on a maintenance position close to the runway. We have the dispersed 800-meter strips here in Sweden. You touch down in 450-500 meters, taxi in, and they line you up, and you have one officer and 3-4 conscripts, and they do all the handling, and it takes 10 minutes to raise new missiles, load up the fuel, and they just use attach wiring and mesh equipment to raise the missiles.
For me, it's all been a dream come true. The rush of flying in a fighter, I can tell you, beats the high of anchoring a breaking news situation on live TV. But at one level, it's all pretty scary stuff, and I can't help but wondering if the families of test pilots don't get seriously worried about what their loved ones do for a living. If I was expecting some sort of confession from Johan, I was mistaken.
I think we're doing a lot of risk management, trying to take care of the risk. Everything is studied so well in advance, and everything is simulated. So I would say that nowadays the risk is less than being an Air Force pilot.
But it's not good enough for Gripen to be able to do something if it keeps breaking down. For the Swedes, supportability plus availability equals mission success. In simple terms, no matter how extreme the weather or difficult the conditions, the Gripen is designed to get off the ground and carry out its deadly mission.
Life cycle cost is the cost you would pay to use the aircraft over 30 to 40 years. And Gripen is designed from the beginning to have a minimum life cycle cost. So over life, Gripen would have significantly less life cycle cost than its closest competitors.
Like most of the world's leading fighter jets, the Gripen is fly-by-wire. There are no heavy hydraulic controls to move its control surfaces like its tail or flaps on its wings. Instead, everything comes through electric impulses sent through its elaborate flight control system. And it's this same cutting-edge design philosophy which makes its way to the cockpit. There is no old-fashioned analog instrumentation. Instead, everything is displayed on MFDs or multi-function displays. But with highly computerized multi-function displays come a unique set of problems: information overload. Too much stuff for the pilot to comprehend. Gripen has a solution to this. Don't need it, don't show it.
I think we've always had the pilot in mind when we start the design from the very start. We have pilots involved in sort of any phase, from basic structure of the aircraft, when we put where the displays should be, the switches and everything, and then from then on with all the displays and what symbology is on the displays.
And how does that actually help you when you fly this?
Makes things a lot easier, because as a pilot, have got the information where I want it, how I want it, and the look I want of it, so I can interpret it in an easy way, and that reduces my workload.
Modern-day fighter aircraft do pretty much the same as their predecessors right from the early days of aviation. Hit targets on the ground and in the air. But the big difference is how they do it. Fighters like the Gripen strike their targets from extreme ranges. In modern air-to-air warfare, for example, it's rare for a fighter pilot to actually see his target. Instead, he picks up a target on his radar, locks on, and fires a BVR or Beyond Visual Range missile. But even that's sometimes just not good enough, which is why the best of the best rely on something called the data link. Central to the design of the Gripen is data link technology.
It's technology which has been developed in Sweden now for the last several decades and has only recently been adopted by other jet manufacturers. So what exactly does the data link do? Very simply put, if there are many Gripen fighter aircraft in the air, all the aircraft are able to share critical information, which ensures that in air-to-ground missions or air-to-air missions, the Gripen has a high hit rate.
Most aircraft are designed with the radar in the nose. And sometimes if you go out on a threat, then you have to turn away because you want to come back from some other direction. Then it's essential to see what happens behind your back. And if you're linked up with an aircraft link, then information that you value to you can be linked into your aircraft and you can see what happens behind your back.
But let's for a moment forget about all the high-tech stuff which the Gripen comes with. The manner in which the jet is built is pretty amazing. Building state-of-the-art fighters is precision stuff. Each jet is hand-assembled, and the people who make the Gripen are some of the best around. Lars Uno Elviksen has been building jets for decades.
To produce an aircraft is the most fantastic work you can have, I think. And to see the thing flying off, first flight, and so on, that is fantastic.
What does that feel like, the first flight of an aircraft?
Well, it's some kind of, you get a stamp that everything is working, and everybody has put in the effort to produce a product which is brilliant, and you know, to see it flying away and then come back and landing again, that's fantastic. Gripen is known by, I think, everybody in Sweden. If you say Gripen, or what was called in Sweden before JAS, everybody knows it. And everybody's maybe seen it on TV or whatever. It's something which you can be proud of.
So there you have it, the Saab Gripen, which besides anything else has got to be one of the most beautiful aircraft designs ever. It's simple, small and elegant. In the air, it's a killer. For me, it's been a ride of a lifetime. Not too many people get to fly the Gripen. I'm now told I'm a member of the Order of Gripen.